Marvel and Strixhaven, despite being half a year away, have major spoilers hitting online, which is taking the internet by storm, and I have all the information for you here, as well as the confirmed next Infinity Stone to be in a Magic the Gathering set. Court is now in session. Hey everyone, I'm the Nerdy Attorney. Thanks for stopping by. We have a lot to discuss today. Tons of new products released, a very questionable marketing strategy. But before we begin, if you like this content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button, do everything you can to let the internet know that you like this content and you want to see more. Also, if you're interested, check out our Discord. We have a growing community there, already 35 members, which doesn't sound like much, but to me, it's a great deal over a couple of days. We're working to set up our first spell table tournament, and eventually it's going to turn into an annual thing called the Nerdy Tourney. We hope to see you there. All right, let's jump into the details here. I'm excited about one particular piece of information. I'm sure you've seen a lot of these products online. We're going to go through all of them and discuss my feelings. I think this Strixhaven Codex is a slam dunk. I love it. I cannot wait to put this on my bookshelf. Already, it's just right up my alley. You know I'm a Sanderson fan. I have all the leather bounds. This aesthetic is perfect. Not to mention 2 collector boosters, great promo cards in there. We'll get into it. Let me not get ahead of myself. I want to talk about one giant piece of news here, and that is that we finally have confirmation about what the next Infinity Stone is going to be. It's been confirmed. This is new breaking news here. The way we know is the back of the box. Hold the power of Marvel Universes in your hands when you open Magic the Gathering Marvel Superheroes Collector Booster. Each booster includes rares and mythics and foils, yada yada, all the way down to there's also the Mind Stone, the headliner card that's gleaming with infinite appeal. Now, we're getting allusions to what I hope to be one of the best Magic the Gathering decks ever, which would be some sort of Thanos Infinity Gauntlet thing where it's a multicolored deck, Wooburg, you have all the stones in it, and somehow the Gauntlet summons them to the table, board wipes half the table, I don't know. Something awesome can come from this. The flavor could be unbelievable. So I'm very hopeful. But what a lot of people are going to miss about this, I think, is what I've been discussing since the Soul Stone was first announced. We have 6 total Infinity Stones to worry about. We already have the Soul Stone. We're moving on to the Mind Stone. There was speculation as to whether or not multiple stones would be in this next set or just one. And what does that mean? Well, here we have just the Mind Stone. I'm going to talk about my ideas about what I think this card is going to be soon, but the implications are far more interesting to me about the future of the Wizards collaboration with Marvel. If we only have 1 stone coming out in this set, only 1, that means we can expect, likely, if they keep this paradigm up, 4 more Marvel Universes Beyond crossover sets. Now, I am sort of excited for that. Look, if we have to get crossovers, Spider-Man was rushed, but there were things to like about that. I really enjoy my Spider-Bob deck. If you haven't seen it, I have it on Moxfield. Chat helped build it with me. It was an absolute blast. It's a very fun deck to play. Leaving all of the issues with Spider-Man aside, which I am not defending, I will readily admit that they were given a raw deal on how Spider-Man was presented to the development team and how much time they were given to actually produce what would be a pretty complex, large set. So, you know, things like the bagel and schmear make a little bit more sense in that context. Not to mention the lawsuit right now that's making history against the CEO, Chris Cox, and other executives from Hasbro for creating rushed, low-effort sets specifically to quickly get them to market, quickly make a profit for Hasbro, and prop up their shares to appear like Hasbro is overall in better health, when the reality is they're just pillaging their jewel on the crown, Wizards of the Coast and Magic the Gathering. So that means we can expect, I think, if they keep this up, 4 more sets to collect all of the stones. I've said this before, I wouldn't offer investment advice. I'm not going to say you're going to become a millionaire by doing this. I'm not going to say this makes good financial sense. But so far as I can tell, I think Spider-Man sets are going to go up in value as Soul Stones become more scarce. The more we get Infinity Stone synergies in future Marvel sets, the more these cards are going to be sought after and valued. They were printed very scarcely in Spider-Man collector boosters, as far as I can tell. I opened, I think, 6 or 7 boxes on this channel. We pulled 1 Soul Stone. That's it. And it was a regular treatment. I had to go ahead and buy my Thanos Soul Stone, which is now one of my favorite cards. It's just beautiful, very cool, I love it. And apparently there's only 150 of the borderless headliner Soul Stones. If we can expect similar numbers and similar drop rates inside this new set, I think we're only going to see the stones rise over time as they become more useful and more synergies are unlocked. I mean, just imagine, in the final set, you have not just the last Infinity Stone, but also the Infinity Gauntlet, which requires all the stones to operate properly. Or you have Thanos, which would operate almost like a Kenrith. Could you imagine? With every Soul Stone, not only do you get the benefit of the Soul Stone, but Thanos gets a benefit, right? You have Thanos on there. If the Soul Stone is on board, Thanos' attacks deal damage and wither. right? Imagine the cool flavor things you can have there with each of the stones. If it's the Mind Stone, maybe it's every time you attack, a player like Mindcrank or something is required to discard a card. Add these effects onto Thanos or whatever commander you have if they're wearing the gauntlet. So cool, so many possibilities. And for all we know, maybe the Infinity Gauntlet's going to be a Planeswalker artifact, just like we had with the Aether Spark. Perhaps it's going to be a legendary artifact Planeswalker equipment to give it a little bit more utility, but I would love the idea of each Soul Stone or each Infinity Stone on board giving you an additional flavorful effect for your commander or your creatures. So either way, that's the big story I wanted to talk about, but now let's dive into the products. I've heard others say this, I'm going to echo it. This is gorgeous. I really like the gold. It pops off the shelf. The gold and the red harkens back to what got the MCU started, that gorgeous metallic Iron Man. There's nothing quite like it. Play boosters here as well. I'm very mixed on play boosters. The prices keep going up. The hit rates keep going down. This costs almost as much as what a collector booster used to cost back in the day. I simply don't buy play boosters anymore. No shade to people who do. I think it's a great way to build out the set, but so far as I'm concerned, collectors are the way if I want to interface with getting random draws. If I'm going to buy singles of pack treatments, I'll just buy the singles because very few of them pay for the pack shortly after release when it comes to played boosters. Now, the same can be said for collector boosters, but I've had this discussion before. The ceiling is much higher for what you could pull, so you have to quantify a value for each chance you take. How much are you willing to pay for a chance? And, that could equal the markup for some people. Next, the bundle and draft night, really cool idea. This draft night box, I love. I would definitely do this with my friends. We do this anyway. We buy a draft box, we get some prizes to spice it up, and now here it is all in one format. The bundle looks good. The spin down is really good. I like how we got the Anthony Mackie Winter Soldier on the front there. Then we have even more. Again, this is going to look great with the Spider-Man bundle right next to it. It almost makes me want to get a sealed one while Spider-Man prices are so low. It's so creative and so simple. Put the box on its side, make it look like a comic book, and we have a winner. We have the scene boxes here as well, the Glorious Avengers, and then we have this secondary one with the villains here, even on the superhero set with Thanos and the fire, just like the comic. We have a Jumpstart set. Curious to see what's inside there. Jumpstart historically has been a great product. This, I think, will be no exception. And then the beginner box, just like we saw in Avatar and Foundations, this new product that kind of looks like a board game, clearly Hasbro inspired, to try and get people to feel better about spending their money on Magic. Get this whole box. It's a beginner, the best way to learn to play. So if it gets people into the Magic game, I'm fine with that. The Marvel set's releasing on June 26th, and yet here we are, January 29th, as of the recording of this video, getting all of this information already. Overall, I think this set is hopefully going to be much better. It seems like a more thought out set. They've had much more time to do this, and I have not seen any headlines anywhere that this was initially intended to be a small set that was bulked out. Again, it's interesting with the lawsuit against Chris Cox and other executives and the allegations that are being made, these new rush sets have a new context. It shows that it really was a cash grab, as people wanted to call it, or at least the allegations would suggest that it's a cash grab. We'll find out as the lawsuit persists what the truth is. I'm very curious to see the testimony about it, and I will keep you guys apprised as we continue, given my background in the legal world. Now, my speculations for what the Mind Stone may be. I'm going back and forth. I think the Mind Stone is going to be blue. Okay, now let's go into what the Mind Stone actually does. It controls minds, enhances user intelligence, and creates new life. It's yellow. I don't think the yellow is going to have much impact on the color because, again, the Soul Stone is orange, yet it was a black card. So I do think the Mind Stone is going to be blue, which is going to be huge for Magic players. What do you think this is going to do? I have two ideas. Now, if we have our first blue Infinity Stone, I think we're going to see some flavorful stuff here. Card draw and maybe some sort of countering spells if you tap it, some sort of interaction at instant speed. I think what I would like to see is the Mind Stone kind of take in some of that space that the One Ring takes in. I'd like to see the Mind Stone maybe get you to draw cards every time you tap it. Once you get to the infinity, maybe you can draw a card, and since it creates new life, copy a present token you have on board or copy a creature you have on board. It leaves at the end of turn. You know, some sort of drawing cards, copying, that kind of blue Sakashima interaction thing, a little bit of stock up, card draw, blue mechanics might be fun. I don't think instant speed interaction is what we're going to see. It might be kind of cool if you can tap it and counter target spell on the stack or something like that. That might be a cool way to make the Mind Stone desirable. But either way, I expect this to be just a strictly better 2-drop blue talisman. I'm so curious to see what the effects are going to be, but those are my ideas. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think the Mind Stone is going to do? Card draw, copy, something else, instant speed interaction? I'm curious to hear. Either way, if you can't tell from my voice, I'm very excited for this. The Soul Stone was a highlight of Spider-Man for me. I've gone in heavy with these stones. I never thought I'd buy a card as expensive as the Thanos Soulstone Gauntlet, and I did. So now here we are, hoping to see what the art is going to look like, and I'll keep you updated as it comes. Now, let's talk about the return to Strixhaven here. Strixhaven is very interesting to me as well. When I first started playing, Strixhaven was coming out. Adrix and Nev, Twincasters Mage, is one of my favorite commanders of all time. That was one of the first decks that just totally pub stomped me. My brother had it. He was just making duplicate after duplicate, and I fell in love with tokens, and that's never stopped. I've been a Chatterfang token player ever since. Mystical Archives are back in. I've just gone through tons of these because the last collection I bought had a lot of these Mystical Archives. It's difficult to tell the difference between the foil and the foil etched. It seems now they're changing the color of the border to help distinguish it, because in person, the foil etched actually almost looks a little less impressive because it's matte here with just some foil etching around the text boxes. And then the foil cards are all foil, but that can make this look a little foil etched as well sometimes. So I think they're making it a little bit more distinct so you can tell which is which. We've seen a great deal of success with Mystical Archive as this set is aged. People like it, and it had the Demonic Tutor in that set as well, which is coming back here. 5 precons coming out for Strixhaven. We don't know much about them, but I would love to see Quandrix Unlimited become another token generator. I mean, she's creating something right here. Maybe that's a token. Maybe we have Adrix and Nev inside this precon. So I'll do a full breakdown of these once they come out and we get more information about where they're coming. But 5 precons to represent the schools. Very, very cool. Here we are with the Strixhaven product right here, Codex Bundle. I wonder what the price point's going to be. I'm thinking it's going to be $150. Yeah, it's got to be $150 because if they want 30 to 40 per pack here, we're also going to get these packs plus bonuses. Maybe $129. I would love to see $129 as the price on this. Either way, I'm really excited for this Codex. It looks awesome. I'm definitely going to pre-order some with my local game store. Now, these promos, let me get a different article here that has better resolution. Here we are. This was the other article I was looking at. Demonic Tutor making a return with new art, Natural Order, Tainted Pack, and Time Warp. A huge reprint. We don't see this in sets often. I think Mystical Archives are going to be a hit. I'm curious to see what the pull rate is on these. But moving down, here's better resolution images of these incredible arts. This works for me. In-universe, amazing stylized art, hand-painted gorgeousness. I mean, this is what I think we should have had with Avatar. Imagine if that was Zuko. Imagine you had hand-painted art that really accentuated the characters and brought in a little bit of mysticalness to it that really make it fit that magic vibe. I mean, the tusks, it almost looks like World of Warcraft in a way, but all great reprints of the Talisman cycle here, and that Soul Ring, man, oh man, I just already know it's going to look so good in foil. We know that Mythic Orange is going to pop. So I think this is an overall slam dunk, well done, making in-universe cards look like magic. There's no cowboy hats. There's no horror movie theme here. This is just straight unadulterated magic, and I'm here for it. Finally, I want to mention Mathemagics. What a really funny card. It looks complicated here. I think they put this here because technically, I think 2, you're not really timesing them, I guess, because it's 2 to the power of 0. So 2 to the power of 0, they're making equal 1. I thought it would be 0. I don't know. I'm not a math guy. I'm a lawyer. Correct me in the comments below with what that is. 2 to the first power is 2, I suppose. 2 to the, that's times 2. And then that would be 8 because it would be 2 times 2 times 2, right? So it continues. I think it's insane. You can draw 32 cards for just 12 mana. That's wild. So if you have a way to produce tons of mana, say you have a blue-red deck, I could see this being played in CDH when people have Gaia's Cradles or other ways to get tons of mana or even infinite mana. This is a great way to draw your deck fast as Oracle, have your win. So fun card. I think it's hilarious that they added all this stuff on the bottom, but it is super helpful and probably solves a lot of problems at the table. So a bit of a joke while also being useful. And now for Marvel, we also have 4 precons coming through this. We have Doom, Fantastic Four, Wakanda, and then Captain America, the Avengers Assemble deck. And as I'm a sucker for, we have the collector versions of these precons. I'm gonna try and get these, even with my friends in the LGS world. It's hard to get these on release. There's always people who want them, so I'm gonna be making phone calls today to say, hey, please set one aside for me. I don't get the whole set. I never want to take from people who would want it. I'm gonna try and get Doom Rivals. We don't know what's even in there yet, but I feel like this is going to be a big one. That printing of Loki is just so cool. So for me, this is the one I'm going to ask for. And then, of course, I would never want to take all 4. So hopefully I'll get lucky here, but I'm very excited for these precons. And we'll see once we get the releases of what's inside them, whether or not they're going to be worth it to buy. But for now, it's nice to have the return of precons. I've missed them. And I think, again, knowing how rushed the sets were, and the fact that it would take more money to actually research, develop, create, balance, print, and tool up factories to make these precons, the lawsuit allegations of trying to rush sets would inform, I think, why we didn't get these products. They take a lot of time to balance and design, and that costs money. So maybe we're going to find out information that might also be wrapped into this directional change that was being made by allegedly executives and Chris Cox just to pump up Magic to make some more money and to stymie some of the losses that were being absorbed by Hasbro and offsetting them on the books. Again, all allegations, we don't know yet, but we're going to see how it pans out in the court of law. All right, so those are my immediate thoughts right now on the sets coming out and the new things releasing. Let me know in the comments below. Are you excited for this? The questionable nature of this release cycle needs to be discussed as well. Why in the world would we get all this information now? There's so much good stuff here. Let me be excited for Strixhaven before I'm excited for Marvel. Just give us a break. I don't get what this media blitz is about. Perhaps it's a distraction to try and cover up the lawsuit and save some of the bad publicity that these allegations might be producing for Hasbro. Maybe this is just a blitz media-wise to try and distract people from what's going on there, but I'll certainly keep talking about it because I'm very curious about it. It's certainly not negative for Magic for me, but it does give a little bit of context for why some decisions might have been made, and we'll see if these allegations prove true. Again, none of this is fact, all allegations. I cannot be more clear about that. All right, everyone, that's the video and what we know so far. Thanks so much for stopping by. I had a blast talking about this, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. What do you think about the strategic decision to release all of this now? Is it a distraction? Is it just because there was a convention going on somewhere else and that was getting released as part of that schedule? Was it always planned to be this way? Are they thinking, well, if we're going to create hype, let's do this right now? Or is this the beginning of an eternal hype cycle? But if you like this, please like, subscribe, comment, and stick around for future videos. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'm the Nerdy Attorney. Be excellent to each other, play paper magic with your friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Court is adjourned.